Good morning. It's actually not morning. It's actually 8 o'clock in nighttime, when I actually have time to do something. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Mecha PPV. I am back with the 4Runner project, the Project Blueberry. Let's start things off with the idler arm. The idler arm. I'll tell you something. When you hear something knocking on the front end, it could either be these flimsy ass arms they put on these trucks. They're completely terrible. They're not a great design. I don't know how long they lasted with this design, but they were bad. Both of them, both arms. I ordered one, a replacement Duralast. The Duralast one is actually thicker than the OEM one, so I went ahead and went to go replace it with that part. That was actually easier than I thought.
So this thing is definitely bad. I can hear got some play in here. This is your either arm. Supposed to have a little bit of resistance, but.
So here's a new one. Very easy, simple. Nothing much besides the extra thickness of the arm portion. It's pretty much the same. It also, another thing about this arm and the Duralast replacement, it changes the 17 nut to an 18 millimeter. It did catch me off guard.
Changed into an 18.
Do that gorilla squeeze right there.
Just a tad, like. Hey.
So on this day, this is going to be the next day, I decided to lower the truck. This truck had a really big issue of swaying even on normal roads, but you can really feel it on the highway. So I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to lower it. I know it looks good and it looks badass, all lifted and stuff, but I decided to change it up, and I'm glad I did, because look what I found. I found weird lift kit hardware. Very weird. And when I mean weird, I mean the diameter of the hole was way too big. Now I could understand why this truck was swaying, because of the excessive play that was in the inner diameter of these pipes. That, unfortunately, that's what they are. They're cutted pipes, and I'll show you here in a minute. I'm going to the inside, and it's all around the truck. And then when I was doing this, I found some water. Not good. Not good. That's another to-do thing on my list now. But either way, I still went in and decided to take off these made-up height things. And I'm just gonna say they're things, because
That is wrong.
that's wrong, bro. Right. This one was literally pipe.
Use some kind of piping to get this thing on there, to raise it up. Shouldn't have a hole that big. It should be a nice fit.
Incredible. And it's all throughout the whole truck. There were all different things. There were different sizes. There were different colors. It's just all around the different hardware kit. It was wrong from the get-go.
Whoa, it's really low. Oh, look, you put a collar in this one. Several little collars. This is wrong. Look, he has another one in there. How come the other ones didn't have it? Interesting.
So all the hardware that it has is pretty much different. I'm gonna try my best to get most identical washers. Whoever had this car before I did really didn't care about much having the correct hardware, but they just wanted a lift kit. Because these holes are way too wide. Look at this. And it didn't have no collars in there.
Only one of them did. I think he made these up. So that is completely wrong. That would explain why the truck feels all wobbly when you're driving it. So that's not right. So I'm gonna fix that, get the best hardware I can. So I'm gonna skip through all this. So let me just blow right through it, and then I'll show you the ending result.
So after removing mostly all the hardware stuff, or the lift kit, I noticed that the front end of the truck didn't want to lower, and I was wondering why, and it was because of this bumper.
All right.
This bumper has also increased 3 inches of height in the front end, so unfortunately I had to take it off, and maybe I'll modify it and reuse it. But after removing that, the front end went down precisely, very good, and I went ahead and tightened everything. I obviously need to replace all the bushings around it, all the rubber hardware, or all the rubber pieces from the height kit, but we'll do that in a later video, or get that done. Also, I have to replace these shackles. These made up shackles are also different. This one was a little bit of a pain because one of the nuts actually stripped out and threads, so I had to actually rig it up. But the other side went off perfectly fine, and I didn't have any issues taking that one off. So I just take it out, use the hammer, really easy. And those bushings also need to be replaced. They're just mostly dried out, all cracking and stuff, so no big deal. I'll replace that in a different time, not right now. I just want to get the feel of the truck good, because it feels terrible. I had my wife help me out on this one. These are Old Man Emu shackles, OEM shackle replacements, and it's a really good kit. It has the grease fittings or at the end for you can grease them up.
Nice. Good thing you have a wife.
I tell you, it's not fun working on rocks. Just wanted to show you all this bogus hardware. Like, this is wrong diameter. Look at this. And then this one, look at this one. This one probably is almost close. Still, it's wrong. Here's one that I really wanted to show y'all guys. Look how, this is how I took out this one. It was pieced in with like fence piping. Not very good. We're definitely gonna make it better with the little stuff we've done.
So here I'm gonna replace the pivot arm of the other side of this front end suspension. Same kind of concept, except this one has about a 33 millimeter on it. I can't precisely remember. I think it was a 32, to be honest. I think it was a 32 or a 34. I can't remember. But maybe it tells me right here somewhere. Maybe I can get the perfect. No, it doesn't, of course. I can't remember, but it was a big fat socket. That's the size, big fat socket. Once you get you loosen that nut, it was actually pretty easy with the clamp there, just to take it out by hand. And look how wobbly that thing is. Very bad.
Hey.
Here's the new one, and this new one is also a replacement Duralast one. This one in particular has a grease fitting on the top, which is really convenient, especially that the OEM one didn't have. That one did not have a grease fitting. And this one also changed the 17 millimeter to an 18 mil, which is fatter. Big old fat one. The next day came around, and this day I decided to replace a power steering hose that was leaking all over the place. And this one was kind of unique leak, because it would only start leaking really bad after doing a sharp turn. It will squirt out onto the exhaust manifold, and it would smell really bad. You'd be like, what? Sometimes if it leaks enough, you would think that something's burning and you start smelling really bad. So another replacement Duralast part. I couldn't find a good OEM aftermarket one, so this one had pretty good reviews, and so I decided to go with the Duralast once again. Duralast has made some pretty decent parts for this truck. I'm not saying that everything Duralast is good, but
for some reason,
it works.
The one that it had, it just always hit the front of the body for some reason. I don't know if that was from the right truck or what. Still got some a little bit.
On a later day, I'm gonna have a different video, me replacing this reservoir. This one's really bad. So another thing to quickly note on this truck, it takes transmission fluid for power steering fluid.
Not yet.
Take note of that if you're doing your own 22RE power steering stuff. Just remember, it's kind of a weird concept. It uses transmission fluid.
Here's the old power steering hose. This part right here went under the body. It would cause interference, so when I lowered it, it would be hitting. And the design of the other one, instead of going this way, it went this way. So it did like a 90-degree turn, another 90-degree turn, and then it went back to this line and went back up. It's like this piece, I don't know if this is from a different truck or what, but this was causing an issue.
So I went through my cluster stuff, all my stuff that I got with this truck, a cluster load of different kinds of parts for this truck. So I wanted to slap it on this cold air, but unfortunately, the aluminum section did not fit, and it didn't fit because I lowered the truck. Remember, we lowered it, so usually the engine would be lower at this point, and that pipe would have worked.
Attach the cold air filter on here, just slap it on. That aluminum duct didn't really fit since the truck was lowered, and then I fabricated some kind of bracket here for it wouldn't be moving so much, and did chop off a little bit. This is not the correct way by all means, but it will do, and hopefully we can get better airflow with it. I think it'll work just fine. There's a big gap, so more air can definitely go in there. Well, that's good. So we'll see. This hose could be loose. This is for evap, I'm assuming. Just looking at where it goes, it's probably just to take out the fumes, and this is like a charcoal canister kind of. I'm assuming that there's some kind of filter in there. Just cleans it out and just throws it out to the normal air for it can be sucked in back to the engine. I think it'll be fine. No, there shouldn't be an issue there.
So I'm testing out the throttle response on it. I wanted to hear the airflow into the filter, but when I was doing that, I hear this squeak noise, and I quickly found out that it was only during a high rev at a cold start. So I immediately said to myself that this is a clutch fan. The clutch on this truck is making noise at a cold start, which is not good. So later video, we're gonna eliminate that clutch fan and put in an electronic fan to eliminate that noise and also gain a little more power. Here I'm rushing the new power steering fluid in there, and take a note on this clip where the noise is gone. So 100%, I immediately found out that clutch fan is the source of that issue or that noise, because the noise goes away right when it warms up. So future electronic fans, yay! Oh, and then the final step of this day, I decided to do the oil change. I hadn't done the oil change since I started the truck, and I had those just fluids or oil that was laying around for a couple of months or years, I bet.
Follow the wind.
And just use that. And look at this technique. Look at this technique.
Believe in yourself.
Take his advice. Take it. Amazing.
Drip 1, 2. Hey.
All right. It was just a little drip that came out, but still, it's not a whole quart. Sounds amazing. Far from done. Trust me. It's far from done.
Boom.
And that's gonna be it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching, and of course, as always, I hope I see you on the next one.